Like it or not, life is a game. Whoever denies that truth, whoever simply refuses to play, gets left on the sidelines. And I didn't want that. More than anything, that was what I did not want. Which led us always to my crazy idea, Philip H. Knight. Crazy idea. Many of us have a crazy idea. I oftentimes suppress mine with doubt and subject it to dormancy until I consume another piece of inspirational media which causes this bubbling until there's an eruption of dopamine flooding my receptors, pushing me to pursue this idea. I reach the crescendo of this euphoria and then I stop. The cycle repeats and my crazy idea remains just that, an idea. So, You Want to Start a Business is a series that aims to equip myself and hopefully you, the viewer, with stories and lessons surrounding the path to business success to aid in the pursuit of our crazy ideas. I urge you to keep an open mind as we go through this series, as the lessons learned will not only apply to business, but life as a whole. This channel is dedicated to self-improvement, continuous learning, and the promotion of healthy habits. This channel is incremental improvement. $39 billion. That's 39 followed by 9 zeros. 39 billion seconds approximate to 1,236 years. If you put a dollar sign preceding that figure, not only do you have a staggering amount of money, but you also have Nike's global revenue for the year 2019. Nike's co-founder Philip H. Knight being worth an estimated $38 billion at the time. Philip H. Knight, henceforth referred to as Knight, offers an excellent case study to follow. Luckily for us, Knight's journey is beautifully summarized in his memoir, Shoe Dog.
I made this record for you to jam, so use it. Hey!
Born and raised in Portland, Oregon, Knight is an avid runner, and it's on one of his morning runs in 1962 when he decides that it's time to chase after his crazy idea. Let everyone else call your idea crazy, just keep going, don't stop. Don't even think about stopping until you get there, and don't even give much thought as to where there is. Whatever comes, just don't stop. That's the advice Knight gives himself, and then he further goes on to state that maybe that's the only advice any of us should ever give. Now, after reading this book, one idea in particular stuck out the most for me, and it's that idea that I want us to focus on in this episode. In his book, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill introduces the reader to a concept known as the mastermind. Think of the amount of information available to us as stars in the observable universe. That's 100 billion trillion stars, or 100 billion trillion things to know. As individuals, you and I will never acquire all that information. However, as a group, we bring ourselves closer to that figure. Now, if we decide to only focus our attention on a particular subject area, suddenly, as a group, the percentage of information available to us in the form of knowledge, skills, and ideas begins to increase. Napoleon Hill describes the mastermind as a coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between two or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. It is this concept that I believe Blue Ribbon and ultimately Nike's success should be accredited to. So, without further ado, let's meet the crew. First off, we have Bill Bauman, the co-founder of Nike, which started operating under the name Blue Ribbon. He was Knight's college track coach, and in 1964 the two enter into a 51-50 partnership, with Knight retaining operating control. He's the innovator, the mad scientist. Baumann has an obsession with modifying his athletes' running shoes, looking for every possible way to improve their performance. He is responsible for many of Blue Ribbon's best sellers as well as the Nike Cortez. He is also a respected track coach with a resume that speaks volumes. He trained 31 Olympic athletes, 51 All-Americans, 12 American record holders, 22 NCAA champions, and 16 sub-4 minute milers. Just the kind of guy you want on your team when you're trying to build an athletic shoe brand. Next up we have Jeffrey Johnson, the guy with the can-do attitude. He is on a mission to change the perception of running for pleasure, which at the time is viewed as a senseless exercise with high risk and little reward. Every team needs a Johnson. He is full-time employee number one, both figuratively and literally. Johnson stresses the need for advertising where Knight sees no point to it. It's Johnson who opens the first retail store in 1966, and when Knight needs a retail store on the East Coast to battle with competition, it's Johnson who shifts his whole life 3,000 miles to make it happen. As Knight put it, there are team players, and then there are team players, and then there's Johnson. Time to introduce Bob Woodall, a standout on Baumann's 1965 team, recognized as being a gritty and inspiring competitor. Unfortunately, a freak accident leaves Woodall in a wheelchair, but this doesn't affect his contribution to the Nike mastermind. Woodall brought order to chaos, a true problem solver. He found great pleasure in tackling one small task at a time. Woodall ensured everything ran smoothly. He was the coordinator, and so he was appointed as Blue Ribbon's operations manager. When Nike first started branching out into apparel, Woodall did his typically flawless job, assembling a line that gained immediate attention and respect in the industry. Woodall is the type of individual you can always rely on. Knight even questions why he didn't let Woodall do everything, including his job. Fresh out of UC Berkeley School of Law comes Rob Strazer, who Knight notes as one of the greatest thinkers he has ever met. Strazer joins the party when Blue Ribbon encounters legal trouble with a previous supplier. Strazer is a fighter. He believes in the cause and wants to fight for the team's success. He is hired as Blue Ribbon's first in-house counsel and later is made lead negotiator. Then there's Delbert J. Hayes, who Knight meets while working as an accountant. Hayes is the numbers guy. To best describe Hayes' contribution, here is a quote from Knight. "I always said that Woodall made the trains run on time, but it was Hayes who laid down the tracks." In this group of people, Hayes can be viewed as eccentric. He doesn't share the same passion for competitive athletics. In fact, he's mentioned as being obese and a heavy drinker. However, Hayes highlights the beauty of the differences we have as individuals. His passions are numbers and financial statements. He is responsible for setting up and maintaining the accounting system, without which Knight states the company would have ground to a halt. To me, Hayes serves as a symbol that we should always strive to include people that are very different from ourselves, as their varied outlook on things may lead to contributions that later prove to be invaluable. Lastly, we have Caroline Davidson, who I have down as a wild card. During his time working as an accounting lecturer, Knight spots an art student who is strapped for cash, and so he decides to offer her a job. Davidson represents the wonders that can come from taking a chance on someone. I'm sure on that day, by helping a struggling student, Knight had no idea that he would later get a symbol that is recognized globally as being a mark of quality, culture, and performance. Caroline Davidson, of course, being the beautiful mind behind the Nike swoosh. Through this entire adventure, Knight plays the role of leader, shifting the team around and ensuring that everyone is fully utilizing their strengths. Whenever Nike or Blue Ribbon encounter a hurdle, the whole team looks to Knight to be the driving force behind the solution, and evidently he stepped up every time. So, to close out this episode, I would like to pose the following question. When it comes to the formation and maintenance of a mastermind, What role are you going to play? Think about it.